Good morning. Today we're going to take a look at the What If budgeting module. This module is designed so that you can, as you're going through the fiscal year, you'll be able to crank in some what if numbers. What if certain revenue showed up or didn't show up? What effect would it have if we continue spending at the rate we are for the fiscal year? So basically, it's a way of using your actual spending numbers and then entering other numbers to see what if, what will happen. There's several different ways to get to the module. One way is enter a B from the keyboard down to highlight budget, and then you can get to the what if module that way. The other way is entering a W. W will get you on down to the what if module also. So the budget, if you haven't taken a look at it, will give you a look at any particular journal ledger line item. You can keep your next and previous year's budget live. The current year is this line item. Anytime you do bring up a line item, you can go to fiscal year actuals, see your actual spending as of that time in the fiscal year. This will be encumbered bus spending. If you have money that's encumbered but not spent yet, then it would show up here. And you also can drill right on down through that to the actual record where you recorded that particular line item spending. So it gives you a way of looping through all of your records any way you want to. Now the what if module, we click the what if and it pulls it up. It pulls up your journal ledger account numbers, descriptions, the amount budgeted for the fiscal year, the amount expended up to this point in time, the percent expended. You'll notice this one is blown out big time. This is all demo data, so but this one is way overspending. We spent 500,000. We only budgeted 46,000. But you can take a quick look at your spending. Then the total spending is recapped here. We spent 822. We budgeted, or we spent 821,563. We budgeted 822. We're about 99.86% of the way through the fiscal year, through the spending, and we're about 95% of the way through the fiscal year. Which would, if you're on a calendar year, that would be around November 15, roughly 15 or so days before the end of your fiscal year. So this is nearly one complete year of spending here. This shows the budget remaining, projected total expenditures if we forecast on out through the year. The tool here is based on average spending through the year, so if you look at it 6 months through your fiscal year, it's just looking at what you had projected for spending through the rest of the year. The projected remaining spending to be done and all. Now, about the first thing you'd want to do after bringing up this screen is go to your revenues, because you'll want to bring your revenues up to date, and you'd enter the revenues received, and that's just a regular window. You just enter the revenues received up to that point in time, so you'll have an actual revenues, and then you calculate forward on this, and it gives you, let's see, our forecasted at this point is 840,000. We've received 836,000. And you can print a hard copy report also. So once you bring your revenues up and you want to see where you stand at this particular point in your fiscal year, about the only number you need to enter here is, we'll say we've got $7,000 cash in our checking accounts, and then hit the calc button, and then it will calculate through with that $7,000 at this point. Now, currently, we have projected revenues, expenditures, and there's bubble help on these. If we had a negative number, it would mean the expenditures were exceeding. And then we'll go down through our $7,000 cash, and then we get a net, simply adding those numbers together. The to-date revenues minus expenditures were roughly $14,000 to the good. Now, if we extrapolate this on through the end of the fiscal year, we're forecasting expenditure of about $39,000. projected revenues of about $36,000. So we're going to have a shortfall of about $2,000 in the fiscal year, which we're cushioned by the current $7,000 on hand. So about the most important number once you get all this rolling is this end of fiscal year, whether you'll be at a negative or overspending your budget or not. So a quick look would prove to that. Also, we can do a budget analysis, which will draw up a graph of the current set of numbers using your actual spending against your budget. And if we calculate the variances here, now we'll see here on this particular demo set of numbers, we have a major overrun. Blue is the actual spending against the budget, is green. It's in October, so if we look up here at the numbers, or September, we'll see there was about a $505,000 spending in September versus what we budgeted, about $70,000. So this could represent purchase of a couple of pieces of equipment that were budgeted in, just weren't allocated to the September when we were going to spend it. So that gives you a kind of a quick look at this. Also the same recap numbers, your spending compared to the budget for the year. And so that provides a pretty good look at what-if calculations. There are other fields in here that can be used in different ways, but if you kind of let the system do all the work and just bring your revenues up to date, you can get a pretty good handle on where you'll stand at the end of any fiscal year if you continue spending at the rates you are up through that year. That pretty much covers the what-if module. Next week we'll do the work order module. We'll also have this webinar posted to the website under our videos out there in a couple of days. So if you want to review it, go there, or if you have any other folks in your organization that like to see how it works, just send them on out to the website. So until then, if you have any questions, give us a call.